So now let's look at a quick demo of how we could create a very simple logging load test plugin. Okay, so to add our load test plugin, first thing we need to do is just add it to our solution. So we're going to right click and add a new item. And in my case, I have a template already installed called load test plugin. We're going to go ahead and add that. And this is what it gives you by default. It has all the events wired up. You're going to want to delete the ones that you're not using because there's a bit of overhead involved with having these wired up. And then you can go ahead and implement whatever logic you want in any of these individual method bodies here. Now to get that plugin, let me show you. You can go to Codeplex and it's under teamtestplugins.codeplex.com. So jump out there, grab those plugins, and that'll let you have those templates to use that look like this. Or you can just code it up yourself. The main thing is you have to implement this iLoad Test plugin that lives in the Microsoft Visual Studio Test Tools Load Testing namespace. Now in my case, I've already implemented a simple one that looks like this. And all it's doing at the moment is telling me when the load test starts, when it finishes, and then for each individual test, it's telling me that it's started. Now we just have to add this to one of our load tests. So we're going to come over to load test 1. So it's a little bit simpler. And we're going to just right click on the load test and say add load test plugin. And here I've got my two plugins. This one doesn't actually do anything. So we're going to add load test plugin 1. Say OK, that's the one that has those diagnostic debug calls. And we'll save that, and we're going to run that in just a second. But I want to pull up debug view. So here's debug view. You can get it from sysinternals, which is on Microsoft website. Just do a search for debug view and you'll find it. Debug view lets you view any of the output from the system diagnostics debug statements. So it's a nice utility to use. And now we're going to kick this off and monitor it from our debug view line here. And you can see here, load test is starting. Test is starting. And as this test gets started, these are going to start coming in really fast. So right now it's ramping up and there's a couple 3 per second. And as that test continues to go faster and faster, you'll see more and more of these statements. And if we stop the test, you can see the load test finished. So that's a very simple way to create a load test plugin that you can use that hooks into some of these events with your load test.